is big business in black hair. The mass market black hair product industry is worth an estimated $185 million. More than one-third of that market belongs to the two largest black hair care makers, L'Oreal and Alberto Culver Company. And chemical relaxers have straightened hair have long been the cash cow of that industry. But in 2007, relaxer sales have begun to decline as more women have chosen to embrace their natural hair over the chemically straightened look. The demand from all those natural women for products to take care of their hair has given life to a cottage industry of natural hair care products. And it's made up mostly of entrepreneurs of African-American women, some of whom have whipped up products of their own that help to meet this demand. And they're joining the ranks of black women whose beauty salons have long been the bedrock of small businesses in black communities. And they're all following in the footsteps of Madam C.J. Walker, the mother of the black hair care industry, who's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first American woman to become a self-made millionaire. Still around the table, Nicole Ari Parker, Anthea Butler, Joan Morgan, and Nikki Walton. Okay, so there's money to be made here, and there's money to be made in both ways that are troubling and terrific.
You know what's so interesting about that is that with all the politics and all the emotionally health issues, you know, us loving ourselves, we're vain.
Right. And we want to look good.
Nobody's talking about that. Right. I mean, we even judge each other. We were just talking about Solange being very upset on Twitter, but it's because there's still this thing about getting your hair done.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's an afro, whether it's twists or braids or relaxers, everybody wants their hair done.
Right.
And so she embraces just get up and go, and she's beautiful. And so people on the internet, they're like, well, how come she doesn't go to a natural salon? And and it's just crazy.
Right. And this is Solange Knowles. This is the sister of Beyonce Knowles, who we have an obsession with here on MHP. And the very idea that I love this point that we want our hair done, whatever the grooming is, we want it done. And when I talk about like the industry, it's not just like the products industry, it's also like the informational industry. Curly Nikki is about creating a community where people are having this conversation
and working it out.
Exactly. I am proud to be able to provide a positive platform for women to come in a safe place and encourage each other and share and get this information. And it goes beyond the aesthetic and goes back to what you were saying about self-acceptance and accepting your hair for what it looks like, whether you just got up and go or if you want to twist out or braid out. It's no judgment. Shouldn't be. Every now and then that gets interjected, throughout. But for the most part, myself and for the CurlyNikki.com community, this is not about being anti-relaxer or anti-straight hair at all. This is more about empowering textured women to achieve healthier hair and versatility. And
I love the idea
confidence.
Of textured women.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I went to a salon here.
Right. Everybody's textured.
Right. Salon, Anthony Dickey salon here in New York, Hair Rules. I went there for the first time since I'm here doing Broadway, and I knew I was transitioning out of a relaxer, and really it was because there was so much new growth, and then the relaxed part just wouldn't curl up, so I just did the big chop. But I remember sitting in that salon in that waiting room, and he has white customers and natural customers and relaxed customers. And every single person had a head full of hair. That was the first time that I've ever sat in a black salon and everybody's hair was beautiful. Because we usually are frying it and singeing it and chemically destroying
it into submission.
Beating it into submission.
Yes.
Right. And here was this room full of beautiful women.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about economies, and I kind of want to, since it's us, I want to get like to the nitty gritty of this because I think that it's really... and it feels great to embrace all the positives of what we're seeing in terms of like natural hair. But when we are talking about the economics of hair, we are also talking about, there are people who are now robbing stores that sell extension hair and selling it on the black market. And I think that the idea of actually robbing a place to sell hair that came off someone else's head to put on your own head, and that there's enough of a market and obsession with that is worth talking about. I mean, I think if you go down in Harlem at any given windy day, there are tumbleweeds of like synthetic or natural hair rolling
Joan
down
Morgan,
the street. Or on the subway. We know this subway store in New York, like the pencil that goes underneath because the weave is just not a good weave. that speaks to me of another kind of addiction and a place where we haven't yet moved, another kind of pain that we're not comfortable addressing.
And there's a lot of profit to be made from that pain. I mean,
Exactly.
so on the one hand, small business owners, overwhelmingly for African American women, we have, our salon owners of one kind or another. But then there's, as we point out, L'Oreal making millions, right, from African American women's hair, and obviously those beauty supply stores is often immigrant workers who are owning those. So there's a multi-ethnic sort of and international system that is in part supplying us. So we will talk more about black hair, but this time we're gonna go a little bit into not only our history, not only our politics, not only the economics, but also the aesthetics, right? This issue of what it looks like, and we'll have sort of a great moments in black hair.